not that big a deal for me.
I know who drew this. I know who drew this. Hermit the Frog here, and today we're going over my favorite new book, my autobiography, Digging in the Swine.
I'm gonna make some piggies squeal.
I just remembered something interesting about The Odd Ones Out. You've never seen his actual face before.
Nope.
So yeah, that's James. James.
What a hunk.
Oh yeah. Look at this handsome man right here. Look at that.
Man's got a dog.
Yeah. I mean, the dog just
You're a made man
adds.
when you've got a dog.
Absolutely, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's just a winner. I mean, you've got a dog, and you're a made man.
I guess that's what they call what I have. I mean,
okay.
A goblin that walks on all fours. You know?
Yeah, a goon. You've got a goon. Honestly, having a dog doesn't always necessarily mean that you're awesome. What makes Odd Ones Out awesome is the fact that, he's a great animator, he's a tremendously talented artist, and he's just a genuinely funny person.
His stories are like about real life experience, and it's a very open. It's kind of like what Eminem does with hip hop a lot, where he just kind of opens up his life, and that's his art. And
you see, right here, he's actually going to be talking the truth about making cartoons. And usually, he does like funny little fake titles where it sort of talks about the thing that's in the title, but not really what you're thinking it's about. But from what a lot of people have said, this one's a pretty honest take from him, where he's basically just like giving people the inside track for him, what the process is for making these cartoons.
Yeah. And
I gotta be honest, I never tell him to get in a rush or anything like that, because it's his channel and it's his art. And if he wants to take time, if he wants to take 30 extra days, getting the polish right on his left butt cheek, that's his business. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have to explain anything to anyone. The dude literally has 17.1 million subscribers. He can do whatever the hell he wants, and he doesn't have to answer to me.
Unbelievably,
it is
successful. But that kind of expectation is on a lot of people who create content. I've seen a lot of videos here recently where there are creators tapping out, just been like, "I'm done."
Well, yeah, and
it really sucks.
It's burnout, dude. Everyone hits it. Whenever we were living in the roadhouse, or not the roadhouse, it was the second house that I lived in after I moved out of my mom's. It was basically like me doing all of the editing. I was editing reactions like this, but I was also editing all of the anime reactions, and it was literally one every day of the week. Mm-hmm. And I remembered it was for like a solid 4 to 6 months, nothing but that. And then eventually, the breaking point was when we got the 2 copyright strikes. I remember when that happened, I literally just had to take I went downstairs, and I remembered Quinn was gone. It was just me in the house, and I just started screaming. I just started screaming at the top of my fucking lungs as loud as I could, because I couldn't take it anymore. What was all of this work that I was doing being put towards if it can just be taken away just like that by some company, by some faceless company who isn't even using an actual isn't actually striking these videos themselves? They're hiring another company to do it for them, and you can't talk to them no matter what you do, no matter how many times you message them, no matter what trick you go through. You look for phone numbers, you dial internationally to try and reach them. No, nothing at all. And I literally just I took 2 to 3 days to myself, and I was just like, I'm not doing anything. I've got enough reactions recorded where I can literally just sit back for the next week if I wanted to. I'm done. I just need to sit. I just need a moment to myself. And I seriously considered just stopping, because we were getting messages from people just like, "Hey, where's the Sword Art Online abridged reactions at? Why'd you take them down?" I'm like, I wish if there was technology to where you could punch someone through the screen indiscriminately, I would invest in that just to punch these idiots in the face.
Yeah.
But we got The Truth About Making Cartoons with the Odd Ones out. Let's see what he's got to say.
Hello, I just wanted to let you know that the Scribble Showdown tour is coming back.
Hey.
We'll be going to these places on these dates. If you're interested, then check out the link in the description. Otherwise, enjoy the video. Also, I have facial hair now.
You no longer look like a
Recently,
12-year-old
I read
boy.
the worst YouTube comment ever, and I can't stop thinking about it. This comment lives in my head completely rent-free. It lives in its own private penthouse. The comment was concerning my upload schedule, and it was, if anime studios can make an episode of anime in 1 week, then these YouTubers can make a video in a month.
That's not how it works. That's not how it works there, homeboy. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
Shitty hot take.
That is a terrible, terrible hot take. My dude, if you are claiming to be based and you have no idea what the hell you're talking about, guess what? You're not based. You're literally ignoramus.
Then why don't you do it?
Yeah, exactly. If it's so easy, you do it. It's like, well, it's not my job. It's like, oh, but it could be.
It's also
because
not your job to run your cocksuck. So
yeah, unholster I was going to say, I was like, shut that wiener holster on your face and just like let allow James to to educate you on what it takes to make a cartoon. James, sorry to interrupt.
Initially, I reacted like, you think that's how this works? You think anime studios post an episode and go, great work, team? Well, time to make the next episode this week. Hope none of you have any plans. I know the working conditions in Japan are bad, but sheesh. I guess all the animators are just slacking off between seasons then, huh? And as I thought about it more, I realized, I can't get too mad. This person is just uneducated about the animation industry and is probably a minor. And then I thought, hey, I know a bit about animation behind the scenes. Maybe I could talk about being an artist and educate people on the animation pipeline. So that way, I won't get any more uneducated comment for this video. When I say artist, I'm going to be talking about the Google definition of an artist. Noun, a person who produces paintings or drawings as a profession or hobby. You know, the pen and paper artists.
Yeah.
I'm not really going to be talking about artists who make music or birthday cakes or take black and white photos of sunsets because I want to talk about cartoons. I make cartoons. Now, it should come to no surprise that I'm pro-artist. Well, not a pro-artist. Are you kidding? I know my skill level. I still can't draw fingers. What I'm saying is, I will support anyone who wants to make art. If you're making art as a hobby...
Look at those fingers. Of course you know how to draw fingers, James. Look at that. Those are some good fingers.
Then that's a really great creative outlet.
Fingers, but
No.
they're good fingers.
But
He said he couldn't draw fingers, and now he has drawn it, 1, 2, 3 times in one frame.
Yeah.
And having something physical as an end result is incredibly rewarding. But if you want to turn making art into a full-time job, you might want to sit down and consider a few things. Like, are you sure you don't want to go to law school? The biggest challenge all artists face is they have to eat food to survive. And in this capitalist society, food costs money. So artists are challenged to somehow take being good at making shapes and turn that into money. I know of 4 ways an artist can make a living. The first way is to be so good at art that people will pay money to hang it up in their house. The second option is to make caricature drawings at beaches and tourist traps. The third option is to sell your plasma. And the fourth option, which is...
You know the funny thing? I remembered, whenever Nick started to, move in and, be a part. Yeah. He used to sell his own plasma.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, Nick, are you all right, man? He's just like, I'm good. They took 2 pints. You lightheaded? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the most common option, is to make drawings that people will pay you to make, and do a little bit of option 3 on the side. Some artists will take commissions, which is basically an artist going, hey, I'll draw whatever you want, asterisk, for $100. And people will go, what the art should be free. I was going to give you so much exposure to my 50 Twitter followers. Or...
Oh my God. I can't tell you how many times how many horror stories I have of that happening. Just like, yeah, we'll pay you for an exposure, and I'm like,
do I have to talk about wrestling again? Or being in any kind of musical endeavor? Having any kind of talent at all.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Exposure.
Go ahead, Chad.
How about I expose my nuts to your?
I was about to. How about you expose these nuts?
Yeah.
I was pulling an Eddie Kingston there. It's just like a redeemer. Hey, homeboy, redeem these nuts.
Yeah.
I love that. Eddie Kingston's the man. Anyway, sorry, but yeah, James.
Exposure, it's bullshit.
Exposure is BS. I remember it was Andre Terbea, he's another animation YouTuber, was talking about Kylie Jenner's people got in contact with him and wanted him to make an animation featuring her, and he was just like, "Oh, that's awesome. What's the budget?" And she's like, and they're like, "Well, we actually don't really want to pay you for the animation, where it's an animation, and you'll be Kylie is the main reason why we're going to be selling or making this thing, so we can actually give you like a shout out on her like." And here's the thing, that's a lot of like Instagram followers and all that, but I can't buy a McDouble with followers.
Yeah,
I can't.
Not a single McDouble.
Yeah, I can't buy even a small fry with followers. What am I gonna do? Show up to the window and be like, sir, you don't have a credit card? I do, but I don't want to use it. Here, look, I have 50 followers on Instagram. It's like
no freedom fries.
It's like, that's good, sir, but I'm gonna need to see some cash. It's like, oh come on, I'm a big deal. Yeah.
Don't work.
People will go, I want you to draw this cute animal character I made, and while at first your price might seem a bit high to the uneducated, I understand that art is a time-consuming process and you need to eat too.
Yes.
So here's a crisp $100. But another somewhat more stable idea is that artists will get jobs at studios or work for a YouTuber, and we'll be like, hey, we'll give you money if you draw specifically what we want, and if we don't like your art, we'll make sure to communicate clearly what we would like changed and work as a team to do the best we can. Or you're fired! And that leads us into animation. An important thing to remember for animation is that drawings equal time plus money. Exactly how much time? Well, to answer that one commenter's question, no, an anime studio does not make an episode of anime in 1 week. I think. South Park is what making an episode in a week looks like. And truthfully, that's very impressive. I take months trying to...
Well, it's because they have a huge team around them.
Yeah.
And instead of it being like what it used to be, cut up felt paper and all that and construction paper, it's now literally like all digital.
Yeah.
And they have like all these great animation people working with them. And the animations are still mostly relatively simple.
Yeah.
But just...
They're geniuses.
Yeah, they are.
And a lot of people working on it.
Yeah.
To figure out what the heck I'm even going to talk about. Making a single episode of a cartoon from scratch takes about 2 years. Don't believe me? Well, let's see what Yakko from the 2020 Animaniacs has to say in the very first episode.
Oh, yeah.
At least, we still think there's a President Trump. You see, the writers are writing
there was
this
in
2018.
but it's
now,
just
that doesn't mean it took
not
26
anymore.
years to make the first season of the Animaniacs. There's a lot of moving parts that happen when producing an animated TV series. For starters, the whole season of the show gets made at the same time. While the writers are writing episode 12, the storyboard team is boarding episode 3, and the design team is designing the bowling shoes that are going to be worn in episode 6. And it's someone's entire job to make sure that everyone's doing their job. This is called the animation pipeline. And there's so many other...
I love the human sacrifices at the top.
...departments that I could honestly make a whole other video about this pipeline. If you're interested, I'll do it, but just know that it takes roughly 2 years to make a season of a cartoon show, and that's why when shows reference memes, they're extremely outdated. Like a boss! It's beautiful, isn't it? This exterior nighttime city skyline background?
Yeah.
This background was drawn by one of my background artists, Annie Loomis, and it took 7 hours to make. And it was used specifically for this clip. If it wasn't for the Cats movie, I would have thought Hollywood knew what they were doing too. It lasted for 4 seconds. 7 hours of work, 4 seconds of content. So,
Accurate. It's just like me whenever it's like I dump all this time and effort into a project, and then all of a sudden like the file gets corrupted in Premiere, and
4 seconds of content.
it's like all of a sudden file has been corrupted. File has been corrupted. File has been corrupted.
So,
I'm sure Nick has heard me scream like that several times from my room, just like, ah! Yeah.
before we continue,
it hurts.
I'm going to make you all sit and appreciate this background for another 4 seconds so I can double the value of this background.
James, I appreciate it. Well done.
Homeless. You see that in the back?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, instead of Hollywood,
Yeah.
homeless. I mean, it makes perfect sense. Liquor store open 24 hours. I mean, let's actually look at the stuff that's in here. A dumpster, which, you know,
Damn, this is getting a lot more screen time than 4 seconds.
why not?
Yeah, we're giving it everything it's worth.
Backgrounds can be a time-consuming process, and the whole purpose of them is to be in the back of the ground. They're not even the focus. So storyboarders will sketch out a scene to set the staging through layout, posing, and character expression. And during this phase, I'm trying to find places where I can reuse backgrounds or take pieces of other backgrounds
Yeah,
and
you
Frankenstein
repurpose
monster them together
assets.
to make an entirely new background. Like how I used the city background to be outside this window, or how I took the buildings from this background, the bushes from this background, and the bench from this background and made an entirely new background. And hopefully, none of you noticed.
I mean, honestly, dude, that's repurposing assets. That's a legitimate what. Like people,
It's
they
literally Disney's business model.
yeah, they've repurposed animations for years, dude. I mean, and dude,
Robin Hood, fucking.
oh my god, dude, like
Tailspin.
the golden age of Disney. You know,
I mean,
half those animations are borrowed. It's like the tripping animation. They use the same tripping animation twice in Sword in the Stone. Whenever the dude's chasing after Arthur, he trips over the tree branch in the over the root in the beginning of it, and then later on, he trips over a bunch of like fallen over weapons in the second part of the film, and it's the same exact animation. Like they do that all the time.
Yeah, and nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, and also when it comes to repurposing assets like this, like digital artists do this all the time.
Like those cats are the same on those billboards on each side. They're just different colors.
Yeah, they're just colors.
Yeah.
They're just colors.
Is the whole shit flipped? Yeah, it is.
It is. It's literally flipped
The
around.
entire each side is flipped.
And they've just done a color adjustment.
change, yep.
Yeah, they've upped the saturation on this one to make this one orange/red, and they've done the saturation on this to make this one like topaz and yellow. I mean, honestly, if he wouldn't have told me, I wouldn't have noticed right away.
Am I being cheap or cutting corners? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's the point. That gives another background artist more time to make something else. Like this James-themed city skyline. Instead of having to draw 20 different backgrounds of a bedroom. We already have a bedroom. Let's just do something else, please. It's not being lazy. It's getting the most use, the most mileage out of your hard work.
Yes.
I see this next story pop up on Twitter about every month, and it makes me want to stab my eyes out. If you look at this scene from The Jungle Book and this scene from Winnie the Pooh,
Yeah.
these two similarly proportioned boys are eerily moving in the exact same way.
It's
Wait,
because
was this
the animation cell already
plagiarized?
existed.
Did someone from Winnie the Pooh plagiarize The Jungle Book? No. Remember what I...
Shut up, Twitter. Silence, Twitter. Again, I go back to that meme, you know, the shut up mob. You know, like the Twitter mob. Like it's Peter telling Twitter to shut up. It's like, shut up, mob.
I said about drawings equal time plus money? Well, back in the old days of animation, before fancy graphics cards and floppy disks, animation frames had to be physically painted onto floppy, transparent sheets called cells. So animated movies were essentially a really long flipbook with over 100,000 hand-drawn painted pages. Back then, drawings equaled even more time and even more money. This whole sequence had to not only be drawn 24 times a second, but it also had to have the correct timing to look like a little boy was jumping on rocks. Just because you drew 24 Mowglis doesn't mean they're gonna look good when you play the frames together. So if you're making a cartoon movie in the 70s and you need a scene where a young boy character is just being a dude and throwing rocks, and you need a really climactic fight scene, are you gonna spend the time and money drawing another boy throwing another rock when someone else already did that 10 years ago? Or are you gonna reuse the animation the studio already made and then have more time and budget to make an even epicer fight scene?
Yeah.
If these movies were from 2 different studios, then yes, that would be a completely different story. But Disney owns this movement of our boy Mowgli, so they're allowed to use that movement on our boy Chris. Turning your art into a full-time job is very difficult. I'm extremely lucky to not only have this opportunity, but to be able to build an amazing team of talented artists to create these cartoons and share them with you. And because of you watching these videos and supporting me, I'm able to reinvest money into the team so we can make better quality content and I can support more artists. It's a win-win symbiotic thing we got going on. So if you ever wanted to get into the art industry, good luck, get drawing, and start putting that portfolio together. I hope you all enjoyed this art rant. Considering that this video was all about artists, I of course have to give the biggest shout out to all the people on my team who made this video possible, so thank you everyone. I also want to clear up a line I said about how I will support anyone who does art. Obviously, if your art is offensive or harassing others, then that's not chill. I just didn't want to derail the video and give that caveat in the middle of a video, so I'm doing it now. And big news, my board game Cafe Chaos is now available in Target just in time for the holidays, or if you want to buy it online, the link will be in the description. And lastly, I'm going on tour with a bunch of friends in November. If you want to come see us play drawing games, then again, check out the link in the description, and I hope to see you there. It's 2 a.m. right now, so I'm going to bed. Peace!
And don't forget to wear your seatbelt, James.
Atlanta's not too far.
No, not at all. Atlanta, Nashville, Cincy. Cincy's a bit of a way, but
Yeah, still. Taft. That's where I've seen a couple of people actually, but on a Monday would suck for sure.
oh yeah. It's possible. It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, it's him, Jaden, plus Ross, Domix, and Aaron, Ego Raptor. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's a much bigger tour than the last one I remember them doing, because they did, I think it was a 6-city tour a couple years ago before COVID, and you know, Jaden did a full video on that, and it was awesome. But I'd love to go. Oh yeah. I'm leaving a like on that right there. So yeah.
Likey.
Oh yeah, moliki licky. But yeah, that truth about making cartoons. He's right, guys. These things take time. All good things take time. It's just like, dude, when we were making The Offer, I remember when we had the majority of it filmed, I was like, oh gosh, this is awesome. And then all of a sudden I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, we still need these other parts. And we still need a song for the ending. Oh God. And then, you know, me and Jacob, over the span of a few months, got everything together. We got everything organized. We filmed what we needed, you know, for B-roll, and then we made the music ourselves for the ending, and it was just like, okay, we did it. We did it. And even though, again, I've said this before, I'm not 100% happy with The Offer, but here's the thing. Once the die is cast, you can't undo it.
Yeah. And
there's things that we filmed, I'm just like, okay, this could have been better, but for what we made and what we did, I'm still fine with it. I'm still cool.
And it was really well done from the outside looking in.
Thanks.
You know, and we move forward because we can't move back. You should be proud of that, and then on to the next.
Oh yeah. Which, in terms of the next, I've already written the script for the next part.
Ooh.
And also I looked. We passed 900 likes on the
Congratulations,
video.
Man.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Thanks.
No doubt.
And I'm still floored
Yeah.
by the fact that we are like we're over 900 likes on The Offer.
It's beautiful.
Oh yeah. I'm excited. I'm still excited, rather. So, okay. I guess that's going to do it for this one. We got to move on to the last one. But that was James, a.k.a. The Odd Ones Out, telling us about the cycle of animation and the pitfalls and the upsides of it. And hopefully you all enjoyed. And hopefully we will see you all on the next one. So, I guess until then, everyone, signing off. I'm Nate.
Chad.
We'll see you, everybody. Peace out.